Hey. Here we go. I do a bit of loading up a game maker. See what the wheel says today. I added some features this morning, actually. New weapon. It's pretty quick to make because the systems in Arcanaclysm have really come along and make it pretty easy to add new features, which is the whole point of a system. So it's been fun to play around with and just add stuff for fun. Of course, most of the time that happens on the wheel stream, but can happen. I'll show the weapon I made. Just again, as the usual, do a little bit of warm up. Just to give people time to show up if they're available today. Oh, look at that funny line of code. We can give the weapon here. Silver Cast Repose. There's going to be a hammer version of this weapon. It's very cool. Blue, silver, metal, kind of magic weapon. It does dark damage, and it does more damage. Here, if we turn on damage numbers and open the log. Game end. No, don't do that to me, Evensky. Here's the damage result. Damage is here, 6. But if it's nighttime, well, 6 against a bush, 3 against an NPC, and something that isn't a bush. But if it's nighttime, it crits one more time. 6, 9. So that's what it does. It's stronger at night. Work done. Time to play games. We did it. The game has been ended. Game complete. It is finished. But not until the wheel says it is. So let's spin the wheel. See what... Oh. Okay, I meant to remove terrain and apparently I didn't save it. Another NPC! Alright. NPC week 2. I was hoping for item, personally. But there's so many NPCs to make. And that's actually more important. Here's our KC sprite. I'm gonna copy, save as, and we'll just do Edmond next. Yeah, making the NPCs just feels a little more urgent to me than messing around with fun items, just because. What do I? Oops. Okay. I have to make sure I don't open my lore document on the left monitor. Oh good, it's on the other side right now. Let's go to Edmond's page. Did I actually do all of his design? I did. Great, this also means I'm gonna have to finish the NPC design for everybody else before the next stream in case we get NPC 3 times in a row. Hey, that means I don't have to change the text. Here, actually, I will change it though. Again. Alright. Put it somewhere good enough. Put it there in the nice blank spot on a spray. Great. Here we go, Edmond. So let me get my, well, close. That works. Okay. So Edmond. Well, he is a nerd. Big old nerd. He's a stonekin, which means his skin is made of stone. Stonekin. And he's also a member of the town of Serrata, which is where Casey and, well, most of the main characters are from, that one town. And he's a metallurgist, or actually really a blacksmith. I'll update that. Under another minor character who we probably wouldn't do on a stream. So he's tall, he's got gray skin with marble striations and silver hair to match. And then kind of a smith's outfit. Probably be like a leather apron with some metal straps and stuff like that. I looked at a few references when I wrote that description. I will not probably bother to do much more than that today. Let's take a body model. He's a little taller, so let's take one of these. But he's probably not buff. So the broader shoulders here make sense, but let's make him a bit taller than Casey. Even, well, we'll put depending on where the apron is, it might be a little wider, but that's probably the right base for him. And this time we don't have to spend 100 years making the base. And I can delete these templates since I have the one I'm happy with. Delete these since this is Casey's sheet. Move here. One over. Okay, let's start with the skin colors. Just get all the colors right. We're gonna have to pick a different set of colors for his clothing because he is already gray. Ooh, that makes him look like a zombie. We'll mess around with that in a second. Maybe this is a better. Yeah. That looks like. Whoa. What kind of hair does he have? Not pure white, that would be crazy. But we can put a bit of highlighting on that. What kind of hair? Let's see. Short silver hair. Alright, so that might be good for him. I do need a bit more shading here. Wait. I might make a, let's see. I'll pick a slightly bluer shade for his skin here. And then just shade it directly instead of using the color palette for that part. Usually I guess the hair goes down to the ears here. That would make sense. That looks like a helmet. That looks actually okay. We had one little hair strand sticking out to give him a bit more shape. Kind of a more square haircut there. I definitely think no shading on the forehead there is right, or I go even lower on the hair. No, he's got a higher forehead. It just looks too much like a helmet if I do it that way. Which is what's happening here, because Drifter has a hat. I guess I want to look at the Casey one that I did. Yeah, her hair forms this shape. So I do think this is right. Give him slightly longer arms as well. Nice. This might be the easiest NPC ever. So we might add a second one or spin the wheel again. Could do that. Another option would be to actually add some new dialogue for somebody. But I don't want to do too much writing on stream because I want to keep spoiler free, you know. Okay, so description said a white undershirt, so I'll start there. Kind of like Casey. Casey had a white undershirt too. In fact, I will copy those colors. But he's gonna have a this is more like a tank top. Casey's got this. He's gonna have straps here. Let's take the dark brown. The gray blends in with his skin, so we'll use the white silver here. And then, hold on, what does an apron look like again? Give him a belt. Hold on. An apron kind of covers. Ooh. Usually have that open. Okay. I miss why he's blue. Is he cold? No, he has skin made out of stone, rock. And I could just go with the straight gray, but the blue gives a little bit more. Color. What does an apron look like? Yeah, it's got like the straps at the top. I'm just gonna get the shape right first. And then by the waist, it'd be tied like in the middle. There we go. A little higher upper waist area, and then it would it almost looks a little bit like a dress. Let's give him dark pants. And well, I don't think that's quite the missed opportunity to make him a stonemason. Well, he's a blacksmith, so pretty close. Yeah, how do I make sure it doesn't look like a maid outfit? Trying to visualize what direction this goes. That's closer. Well, his arms shouldn't go. There we go. Yeah, the arms look weird when they're behind that. Look at more aprons. I'm definitely putting a button here and here. Maybe the apron just... No, there is an undershirt there. That's the problem. Hello, face. Maybe a different colored shirt to make the contrast better. We'll go with blue. I probably want to avoid purple for the same reason. Maybe I need another darker shade of this same color. That makes it simpler, which I like. I can go with a brighter leather brown, like a brighter brown is probably closer. to the actual material that would be used. Yeah, almost orange, to be honest. I hate it, but not that orange. This. And then if I shade it a little darker at some parts, it'll look all right. And then he'd use kind of iron. That's the problem. It blends in at too close. Just use this color, black. I think for this particular shirt, I do need to make it use a third shade to give it a bit more texture and maybe a bit dirtier. Now where would, because maybe I can make the shape at the end of the apron like a little straighter. These aprons have little like splits down here, so I could do that. That might actually be the right choice. That's not the right choice. Some of them have like a lot more buttons. That'd actually help. Here we go. So instead of, oh yeah, look at that. Kind of like what we did with Old Man Leo here. In fact, I could even put them right in the center here. Yeah, I think that's right. Hold on a moment. I really thought I was going to sneeze, and I still need to sneeze, which means it's just going to happen. Sorry. Yeah, that little bit of undershirt is necessary. Maybe the buttons, oh, don't do that. Maybe the buttons all move down one. Yeah. How did I draw glasses? I drew them like this. I could give him glasses. Really, accentuate the nerd idea. But that's a stereotype. Oh, what I could do though. I can give him goggles up here. Classic goggle moment. I might actually need another layer. What is happening? I hate Ace Sprite doing this to me. I didn't make these frames. I don't know what I'm pressing that makes these frames. And it just happens to me. Maybe I'll watch back the stream and see. I don't have record of this happening to me randomly. What color? Because I can't use... Yeah, I'm just going to draw them red for now. Or orange, rather. And then use the black again. Yeah, that's right, actually. I even don't mind the color, to be honest. I thought I was going to hate it, but let's go with something a little bit more subtle. No, that's not right. Sometimes I get really caught up in some task I'm supposed to do and I procrastinate forever and I don't do it. And then I actually sit down and it's like, yeah, I'm already kind of happy with that result. Like, same with the Casey one. I think Casey's a better sprite, so I might still adjust it further, but like, the orange goggles, I'm weirdly pleased. Let's put him next to Casey and see how they compare. Yeah, okay, the one thing I'm going to do is make the leather a bit. Which I guess it being not symmetrical is even better. I think this shading color is a little bit too dark. So let's go one tick less and then try that. No. I guess it wasn't. I can do it one more half tick. Or yeah, that's right. Just make his skin a little darker. Does this convey undershirt? There's only one pixel of it, one row of it. I guess it does. I could go. No, that's obviously his neck. I could give him sleeves. Long sleeves would make sense considering his profession as well. Give him some gloves. But I don't think he's walking around, and I mean, I guess he is. We already made him that. Maybe it's too hot and you actually want shorter sleeves. We'll run with this for now. And this one's easy. Okay. How long have I been streaming? Half an hour? It's pretty good. Actually, I think I want to make him taller. I'm going to have him breathe up so that I'm not making him too short. But he can just do that. they should be quite a bit taller than Casey. How do I... Wait. Regroup. Thank you. How does this work? Idle. Yep. The sprite names for these are so long because I'm just gonna copy paste him in instead of trying to export it. The sprite system, animation system parses the name of the sprite for information about it and finds the animations automatically for various characters. That's already right. Casey has, well, that I can remove because that was a debug thing. I can copy her. And then the last thing is just to change this to Edmond. And let's put him in the game. Oh, that's not that. And I put them next to each other, put them over here. Load the game and see. Oh, why is this sprite offset? Oh, I moved the origin point for Casey. Well, that's why you run the game to test. Yeah, well, so besides their idle animations being perfectly in sync, which is just a separate bug, whoa. Kind of jitter if the right... I could fix that, but I can also just not put NPCs directly next to each other. That's funny looking. Okay, let's fix that animation. The idle. Third wheel. Yeah, I mean, like, I could make them more complicated, but, like, I mean, there's gonna be so many characters. I'm pretty happy with this already, and I think that's good enough. Otherwise, I'll spend 100 billion years trying to make it perfect, so. Eventually, I'll probably, I do kind of want to make portraits for them too, like dialogue portraits. Then I might refine the pixel art as well to go with it, but I could make his little hair bob or something. But looks good to me. I guess we just work on other animations, but I don't necessarily want to do the other animations Like, I don't want to prioritize giving them all every direction animation because a lot of times they're not going to be needed in that way. On the other hand, when I get to the point where I do need it, I will be very frustrated if I haven't done it already. Yeah, here's what I'm going to do. I don't want to add more animations to the NPCs right now. Partially because I might not need them. Partially because that's something I'd rather do, like, while watching a TV show, because pixel art is one of the only things I can do while doing something else that's, like, productive for the game. Drawing art of any kind. And I don't want to do it right now at all. But instead of just picking what I want to do next, because this stream has been quite short, I am going to spin the wheel a second time. Bonus wheel spin. And if it spins on NPC, I will draw another NPC. But I feel more honest respecting the wheel's authority here. But let me remove terrain because it's not supposed to be there. And then I'll save it somewhere later. I don't remember how to save it. Yeah, wheel spin 2. How do I hide? There we go. Let's go. Okay, this is gonna be fun. I have something in mind for this, which is why I was hoping we'd get item. Let me edit the overlay. Properties. We're gonna do that. We're gonna make a boomerang. A classic Cloaked Games game item is a boomerang. Let me, one moment, commit this. And let's make a new major artifact item. Not just a variation, which is what I did this morning, but a real proper brand new item that behaves completely originally. This is gonna be this might take a couple hours, and I don't know how much of it I'll stream or not. But let's do this because this is gonna be a category. So it's more than just like, so if I wanted to add an item, an axe, I can go in here and I could be like this one that I added this morning. This is all it takes to code the axe, but define axe, that's something else. This is what we have to figure out how to do for the boomerang as well. Create group, boomerang. Now the lore as well, we're not gonna worry about today. It's just gonna be getting the boomerang working. And I'll start with, how did I do this? Why is this here? Interesting that the hammer has a diagonal sprite, but you actually can't trigger this. It's funny. Interesting. Or maybe it does. I don't know. Anyways, the boomerang sprite's going to be much easier because it's a projectile, so I don't need to like have a swinging animation. You just whoop, and there it goes. I can just use Drifter's attack animation and then create the boomerang. So in a lot of ways, it's actually be quite simpler. Projectiles are always easier than... and let's just call it basic. We're just going to call it the basic boomerang, and then I'll rename it to whatever it actually ends up being. We need a script for this. Actually, what I need is a I can just put it at the top level, so that's fine. Script item boomerang. This will be our definition script for all the boomerangs. This is how we register them in the item system. We're going to create an object boomerang. And this is what we're going to use. It's going to have default behavior, and then depending on which item spawns it, we will override the built-in variables. Or I could just make a separate object for every type of boomerang. But even then, there should be a parent object boomerang. So we'll just code this boomerang, and I'll worry about the object inheritance later. So just gonna make the default boomerang and have that be the test here. Let's make a sprite boomerang. And if I make, here's a trick. If I make the boomerang 13 by 13 pixels sprite, I can use the item sprite. Well, I will probably want a rotated 45 degrees sprite, but then I can still use the item as the default. Okay, so we're gonna do this sprite item basic boomerang. That'll be our key for placeholders. And then the spin basic boomerang. All right. So this will be the version in the overworld when you throw it, and this will just be the item, and they will be the same size. I'm going to make them both 13 by 13, which means that there we go. They'll be the same size, which means that one of the frames from the spinning boomerang can be the item sprite as well, which will just make every boomerang I add easier to work with. And I'm going to make it yellow because that is a common color for the Legend of Zelda boomerangs to be. What angle do I want the default sprite, like this item sprites, to be? Probably so let's see. What's kind of the shape of a boomerang? I guess, is a boomerang... It's probably not. It's not a 90-degree angle. Oh, it can be. It's a little bit bigger than a 90-degree angle. And for the sake of pixel art, I'm going to obviously stick with a 90-degree angle, because that will just look better. Okay, so we're going to spin this one. 4 of them are easy. What is happening? Good grief, GameMaker Sprite Editor. Rotate. Okay, that's right for 4. And I'm going to want some diagonals. So we're going to make the diagonal one. I'm going to just see what this looks like if I rotate it by 45. Cannot wait for IDE plugins. Yeah. But also, when I actually make boomerang art, I'm going to be, like, actual item sprites are obviously going to be in a sprite. I don't use the built-in editor much except for prototyping. And even this has been so annoying, it might not actually have been faster than drawing it in a sprite. Nope. Where did that happen? Okay. Whee! Wait, something's wrong. Well, besides it going too fast, there's something wrong. It's skipping. What's happening? That's not right. Those got swapped somewhere. Dude. There's 9 frames, there should be 8. Okay, so I duplicated it somewhere. It's mesmerizing. Goes with the music. It needs some smear frames and stuff, because this looks, you can tell that the parts that overlap between the frames are like stronger looking. But that's a for later kind of thing. I wonder which sprite is going to look the best to be as the item sprite. Probably this if I centered it. So that's the sprite. I would use this sprite, this frame, move it over 2 pixels for the item sprite. Okay, now let's make sure, yeah, the item sprite, they use the middle, and the spin, I want to use the middle as well. And the boomerang object is going to have the spin as the sprite. It's not visible. I don't have to check that box because I set that automatically. I completely override visible. But solid and persistent both still behave like they do in GameMaker. I use solid for some kinds of collision checking. Okay, what's next? This is all, obviously I made an object and assigned a sprite to it. I don't need to test that. What I need to do is make an item that I can equip, and when I press the button with that item, it just creates a boomerang. And I showed this kind of generalization here. This works for most every axe. And then I can just set extra properties here. For now, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm just going to define it directly. How does that work? Boy, I'm going to have to remember how all of this works. Attack, new attack, .set stat. Action, new action, steps, yep. I'm gonna actually I am gonna make it define boomerang by default, just because copying all of this is easier than rewriting it later. Okay, so key, name, damage, types. And then I can modify. Probably this is going to need some like range and speed properties, or I can just add a properties struct to the defined boomerang that gets applied to the created boomerang when you create the object. But for now, we'll just use the default variables, which means all I have to do is set up this stuff. New attack key, damage types, set stat attack frames, default attack frames, that's right. This is wrong. We don't summon the weapon at all. Actually, we do. We set it to undefined. And we're not going to do a melee slash. We're going to... function... What's the add step doing here? Step, func. params get bundled up into an array and then passed. Oh, let me add. No, that's not right. Params? Wait. Let's do that. That'll convey it to me. It's not great, but it'll work. Okay, set all this. I'm gonna custom write the function here, and I'll move it to the act section where like summon weapon is and stuff like that. We're just gonna do this right off the bat. Does damage types. That's all should be the same. And what do we do? Instance create layer. I believe the action functions are in the scope of the thing calling the action. So this should just be x, y, layer, object, boomerang. Yep. And then we can define item. Key, basic boomerang. Name, basic boomerang. Damage 2 types. What damage types should it be? No. Oh, stat.dam. Probably just damage slashing. Let me look. Well, hold on, I need to look at the design document. This'll work. Let's see. I guess it's slashing. Yep. Technically physical. For now, I haven't added physical or magical property tags to things. So I'm going to leave it off and then make sure I go to make a note that I need to do that. That should be it. If I did this first try, I'm crossing my fingers. I should be able to give myself a basic boomerang and then equip it and press a button to spawn it. And it won't do anything, but it'll be there. Let's see. Basic boomerang. Aw, man. What the heck? The hammer has a big range. I'm gonna fix that too. Well, it does put away the weapon. That part's right. It does not spawn a boomerang. Oh, that's because it's invisible and I didn't... It did spawn, guys. I didn't give it all the behaviors to be able to do anything. Inventory, basic boomerang. Look at that. Whee! Oh hey, there's even an item cooldown already. I can't spawn it more quickly than that. Which is correct. You can only use any item in once every 20 frames. This is a rule, just so you can't like spam stuff. Well, look at that. Nailed it. They're truly mesmerizing. Oh, wait. All that, and there's still frames missing. Gotta keep going. I'm gonna make the perfect boomerang circle. There we go. Team depth sorted. Everything's handled. This is what I meant at the beginning of the stream when I talked about the systems making stuff easy. That took 25 minutes to get this part working. Which, like, yeah, you could do that faster if it was a game jam, but you wouldn't also have it be depth sorted. You wouldn't be able to immediately detect collisions, add systems to it. Like watch this. Let's make it damaging. Shine blade. I need to check this since I haven't used. Wait. So I do need to do some stuff with this, but what parent object is Shine Blade? Visible as well. The boomerang's gonna get past an attack by the item action. It will have a hit list. Or we'll have a collisions function like this. I think for this object, I just want to set the shadow. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Boomerang. I'm gonna keep this for reference. And let's start adding things. For one, I would like the boomerang to have a shadow. Okay, boomerang should have a shadow. Oh, not object. Sprite, boomerang, shadow. Should also have a Z value slightly higher than the ground. Howdy, Tenebros. How's it going? We made a boomerang because I can't make a game without a boomerang. Boomerang. Is that the right height? Boomerang. I think 4 is too high. I will make it. Actually, I guess 4 is right. What did I set the Shine Blade at? None at all. The Shine Blade just has a custom shadow that displays 1 pixel below itself, I guess. The attack, when I create the boomerang, which should be here, I need to set its attack. Wait, how does this work? Oh. Wait. You attack. X. Oh, I do pass data.attack in here. That makes sense. Okay, so that would give it an attack, which is automatically defined by these values, sent back out to items, so I could be, or... Oh, there's a reason this was not called item in the other one. Data. So I could do stuff with data.attack here, and it would affect this boomerang. It's a little bit of a weird syntax, but the final product means I just close all that up and I'm only looking at this. I just have to remember how it works. Okay, so the boomerang should now have an attack. And if I give it... Why does this get mad at me? Unset? What do you mean it's unset? Here, grip feather. Alright, it's fine. It's just out of date. Just like the Shine Blade, the cleanup event is going to be needed here. To destroy that collisions list. Great. And then I'm going to copy the entire step event of the boomerang, of the Shine Blade for the boomerang. I don't know why this is here. Interesting. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. This just says if the player isn't there, then don't bother hitting enemies. Interesting. Useless clear, instance place, entity, breakable. Yeah, that's correct. This is wrong because, yeah, we'll just see what that does. Yeah, and this to do is still true, but I think it's all good. And then the hit list needs to be here as well. Oh, that's why, because it gets, that's why this is here. Because down here, we're going to have it use the player as the damage dealing instance so that, like, attack buffing spells, like, work on the projectile. So if the player doesn't exist, then it shouldn't do damage anymore, because its owner doesn't exist. There's other ways to handle that, but that's good enough, because if the player's gone, that means the player died, and yeah, I'm not going to do like, in Dark Souls, or Elden Ring at least, you can kill something and have its attack hit you and both die, and like whoever's death animation is longer wins the fight, or loses the fight. No, yeah, whoever's death animation is longer wins the fight in Elden Ring. I'm not doing that. You just can't, like, once you're dead, you can't do damage anymore. So this will work, except that, I think, well, I'm going to test it, except that, Oh, it's not underscore underscore attack. It's just regular attack. Oh, and I see why I did. Yeah, we'll just go with underscore underscore attack. That's fine. I might need to go to the inventory code and start us off with... Okay, it works. It only attacks once because this bush gets added to the... Funny to have a fighting game where one of the main design pillars would be maximizing your death animation duration. Yeah, that seems... Or like you have, it gives a player the ability to unlock ultimate, like, more forms, like a boss would. You just get more powerful every time you die. I guess Sekiro kind of does that, actually. A little bit of that. So obviously this is silly, because the boomerang doesn't do anything. It needs to go out and then come back. But it does work. And there is going to be... Let's look at the axe. What is this? Slash. Direction. This is the sprite I want to use, or this is the variable I want to use for now. Stop speed equals 2 is probably right. This will just make it go off into the distance. I think it should pause if I pause the game, because I kind of overrode the speed values to make that possible. But we're going to test that. Oh. Yeah, okay. You can see it just doesn't even hit walls right now. Just gets deleted. So what this boomerang will eventually be able to do is it will be able to break bushes and plants, but it won't be able to break trees. It'll get destroyed if it hits a tree, or it'll return when it hits a tree. I also think a little bit faster is probably right. It's so powerful. Can send it forever. It's like ninja stars more. It's so efficient. That crazy. There's also everywhere else in the whole game, there's just boomerangs now. They're going off into space. Oh, I didn't check if it pauses when I pause. If it doesn't, that's a bug. But I'm pretty sure. Oh, interesting. Yeah, look at that. Cool. He's probably right. What do I want to do? I want it to, after some amount of distance traveled, it should return. Or if it hits a solid object, it should return. this. We're going to override the default movement. Instead of doing that, we're going to do this down here. We're just going to do, if the player doesn't exist, the boomerang we actually want to destroy itself completely. Because it's going to have to move back towards the player, which means if the player is not there, it can't even succeed. Okay. KK slider. Or whoever, KK, does this, right? Bubblegum KK. Heard a lot of these songs many times at this point. Okay, so if not step direction solid. So now this is just a what? I think that crashed because it destroyed itself twice. Okay, so this should... What? Oh. My bad. We need to do this differently. I guess we just use move and collide subpixel. And I don't know if collision objects is going to be... so this I'm going to move to the Boomerang creation code. But for now, actually, instead of doing XX, do XDY. For now, I'm just getting it to work. I'm going to do a whole second pass of this when I clear up. I don't know if this gets set automatically, but I think it does, so we're just going to try it. Damn. Okay, I forgot how collision objects is set up. guess I just have to set it when I create it. And that will set the collision functions. Doesn't have to go for a bit, but happy to see the addition of Boomerang. Boomerangs are cool. Yes, I agree. And see you around. Thanks for stopping by. What? Why can't it set layer? No. Oh. It's because it's not a method. I have to do with inst. Is a... I really think the Boomerang maybe should be an entity. No, but it should have... I have a real trouble with this layer stuff. I need to think of a different way of doing it. But for now, this will work. I'm just going to leave a note. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Sorry, I wrote a note on the other page. But I think I just want, instead of this cached collision objects variable, I just want to get layer collisions and just call it every time. It doesn't... It's not so... The one extra array axis, one function is not a performance cost worth the issue that I'm having with this. But what is actually happening in set layer? It's a lot of things. This all screenshot. See, this is the only thing here that can't just be done in the room manager. I'll fix it there. So I have a note now, so I will actually fix it eventually. Probably either fix it somewhere soon, or I will fix it the next time I end up finding myself calling set layer and I get annoyed about it. It still doesn't work. Why? What is happening? Yeah, so see here, I put set layer in a global script, intending this to be used on any object that needs to be on a specific layer, and I have to do that layer management and that collision stuff. But guess who has layer previous? Only entities. This is just a big disaster. I will completely rewrite that probably after this stream because I'm so mad about it. Great. In the meantime, the workaround is I'm going to just define an extra variable in here. Because for some reason, I didn't think that anything that wasn't an entity would want to collide. Okay, now it breaks on bushes. Which is not the intention. The only thing it can't, well, it can, yeah, it goes through anything solid. That's right. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to make this return as well. So that's damaging. This is moving, so if not returning, instead of doing that, we're just going to say returning equals true. So now when it hits a wall, it should then return. Oh, I also need to swap the direction, which I can just do by doing this. UI equals negative UI. Okay. That's not right at all. It's kind of funny though. Oh, also it should reset the hit list. So that it can hit stuff on the way back as well. Great. And actually, we don't reverse direction. We just switch to moving towards the player. I think there's... I could use the behavior scripting for this. Move set towards instance. But I don't think that's necessary. Length is move speed. I think I'm gonna give this thing stats, and then I can like, I guess you could apply like a speed status effect to the boomerang and it would go faster, right? But it does still destroy itself if it hits an object, or if it's within catching range of the player. I guess it got stuck on something. Or, oh, I think it got unloaded actually. I just need to disable instance calling. I did this whole calling thing, but it's like this is solid, but it shouldn't block the boomerang. Why doesn't it break? Okay, what is happening? Also quite like that it goes around the corner like that. This is a bug, and I saw it before, and I don't know how to replicate it. But let me make sure it's on a... It's not supposed to be possible. You should only be able to move diagonally, not attack diagonally. But see, oh, well that, interesting. So this, oh, what? That's the weird thing too. See, this is how it normally is. Huh. You get it stuck. Oh, why did it do that? It's on a timer or something? Oh, yeah, I can get... Also, look at this. It should be able to go over that ledge. Yeah, I have to do a lot of updates to how collisions work. But hey, you can hit both ways now. And if you get it right up in the corner, it's double smacked. Because of how hit stem works in this game. It's a little more forgiving. Okay, good. Let's add last thing. Point. Because over fixing all of the collision stuff is not something I can do right now. I mean, I could, but not on stream. It would just be too confusing. Or this is larger than, let's say for now, pixels. And this should mean it will also return early if it's at its max range. Okay, last thing I want to do. Just make a mask for it. Is he gonna have mana? Yeah. Ice Palace, which is gonna mana. Oh yeah. Now we're gonna make this boomerang just a tiny bit smaller. But just so that the pretty much everything on Arcanaclysm has a separate collision mask. Just so I can always make changes to it later without it being an issue. And we shouldn't really be able to see it, except that you can tell that it overlaps a tiny bit with the bush, which is my desired behavior. So this is going to change into one check for entities, so that will include the bush and the trees, and then a second check for collision walls. And the collision walls will always hit. The entities will depend on the collision type. I think I showed this last week, but we go to the collision type table. This was actually foreshadowed. I showed this on stream last week and the boomerang was here, I believe. But you can see my thinking for being able to hit a bush, but gets blocked by a tree, or a rock, or a wall. So this will be a collision type with the wall. And then anything that's labeled as block will send it back early. Anything, the NPCs, it will just pass by. And then most other stuff, it will hit and do damage, or in the case of these two, it'll hit and trigger, right? So I have to do that. I also have to update the collision layers so that you can, flying things can go over ledges like this, because this should be a view collision. Yeah, let's see. The boomerang will actually hit this, well, it won't anymore. It has the same path options as the player does, right? Because they're on this layer. But since it's flying, it should be able to pass over any collision on a lower layer than it. So these ones are on a lower layer. It should be able to fly over that. Yeah, I can't. And these ones are on the higher layer, so it should get blocked. The same would be true of, here, I'll put down. These are lower layers, they should pass over. These are lower layers, or these are on the same layer, but they should still pass over. But these ones, yeah, these ones are correct. F1, F1. Oh, that's a problem. There's no way to distinguish this from this. Oh boy. Well, let me add a note and then we're good to go. I'm gonna end the stream there. I'm not gonna fix the collisions right now. That's a too complicated problem and I'm quite tired. I wasn't this morning, but I am now. there. Layer collisions 2. And yeah, that's a boomerang. It works. It's not perfect. It's not done. It's not even textured or anything. We're gonna make a cool item out of this, and it's not just gonna be a little yellow guy. But a lot of that will happen off stream because it's the longer development work I save for that purpose. And I'll probably, most likely, we'll see. But so far I have been streaming mostly every Sunday, so that's been fun. I do plan to keep that up as much as I can. And thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you later.